Right, folks, we are live tonight. I am proudly to like to ask Matt from the crew, Columbus crew, to join us tonight. We're gonna have a proper chat regards to Wilfried Nancy or Nancy, whatever way you want to pronounce him. He's gonna give us a breakdown of his last 3 years at Columbus Crew as well. What his ethos of football, the man manager he is, the good times, the bad times, and what Celtic fans can expect as well over the next 2.5 years. It was a 2.5 year deal, by the way. We got him. So, Matt, appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for
Um,
having me.
Obviously, it feels like a hangover to you right now of what's happened. Obviously, the links have been there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tell us exactly of a man what we're dealing with.
Nancy. I think he's a guy that can gain the confidence of anyone he talks to pretty quickly. That's the first thing that I think of when I think of Nancy. He's a guy who he kind of has a pretty analytic personality to him, but it's also a personality that is personable, very friendly with you. Um, but when it's time to get down to business, he's ready to get down to business, and he'll uh, get the best out of you as long as you're able to lock in with what he wants.
So, before he came into the club, what type of formation was Columbus Crew playing?
Before he came, it was similar. We it kind of switched back and forth. We played a four back, but in possession, it kind of moved to a three back.
Yeah.
But with Nancy, it's technically a 3-4-3. Um, but it's very fluid. You'll
Mm-hmm.
see players. You'll see our right back moving into the final third. You'll see our left wing back cutting into the middle of the box. You'll see people are interchanging back and forth. So, but it's technically a 3-4-3 now. But it was more of like a 4-2-3-1 before.
And was he one of these type of managers where he's had the last minute goals, a lot of last minute winners with him?
Uh, at our best, yeah. Well, I would say even at our best, we didn't need to get to the last minute goals. We were already winning. uh,
So were
yeah,
you like I'm not familiar with the honors that he's had in his history. I
yeah,
know he's won the MLS Cup and he's won
he,
two big honors, which is and he's got his
yeah.
basically the equivalent of the Champions League final.
So yeah, we won MLS Cup in 2023. We won Leagues Cup in 2024, and he won Head Coach of the Year in 2024 as well. And that year, we also got to it's a Champions Cup final. Uh, yeah, it's our equivalent to the Champions League in Europe. Um, we lost the final. A lot of our players ended up with food poisoning down in Mexico, and it kind of just ruined that game for us.
Jesus,
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't
crazy.
great. Um, but and then we played in what's it called, the Campeones Cup, which is the champions of MLS and the champions of Liga MX, which is the Mexican league. We
Kind of
played
like
in that as
like a
well.
Super Cup, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, and uh, in 2024 as well, we came in second place in the Supporter Shield, which is the most points in the league, just behind Messi's Miami, which I think when they won it, it was a record in terms of how many points they got, or right at the record. And almost any other year we would have won it, but it's Miami and it's Messi and whatever.
Money behind them as it always is
Yeah.
with Miami. But so when he came in the door, like, did you ever hear of him from his time at Montreal?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot. He was there for I think a year and a half before he came to the crew.
Yeah,
Um, and we knew of him as he was originally before that he was the assistant at Montreal under Thierry Henry,
yeah.
and he we won't talk about Henry as a coach. I
Oh,
thought
we don't
Nancy.
talk. We don't talk about Henry
Yeah,
as a handball. Do you not remember that time
yeah,
when they done the line?
yeah.
He's a
I
World
know
Cup
we don't want to
player.
talk. I When that happened, I was like, I hope France gets knocked out early. But
And
well,
they
yeah,
did. They got smashed.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, no, he was known as a good coach pretty quickly. He got Montreal from being basically a nothing club to being one of the top three or four clubs in terms of points uh, the next season. And you could even tell, like, right when he left, Montreal just dropped again. They were one of the worst teams in the league this year. And
did he take any players with him previous from Montreal to Columbus Crew?
Yeah, he had Rudy Camacho. He's our center back. He actually had a season-ending injury this year. He only played one game. But the years before, he was the center back for when we won the league. He also, Evan Bush came from Montreal. He brought Lassie Lapinainen. He brought 3 or 4 guys with him. Not all right away, but throughout his time with the Crew.
Because MLS is all salary cap, innit? You're only allowed.
Yeah, you can't build as big of a club as you want.
Yeah.
And none of those guys were what they call designated players, which are 3 players who can go above the salary cap. None of those guys were those players, but he brought in guys who knew his system, could help the rest of the team learn it quicker, and all of them honestly have worked out pretty well for us.
So what I've digged out about him so far, he's this type of player or this type of manager where he sends motivation text messages in the morning to his teammates. I see he's very passionate as well on the sidelines as well.
Yeah,
loves wearing a hoodie, loves a pair of hoodie and a set of jeans. I've seen there as well. But
he's not going to be wearing a suit a whole lot. Yeah.
And what I know the American media is completely different to the Scottish media. What was he like with the media over there?
He's pretty solid. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, even if that's considered taboo at times. Like this past year when we got knocked out of the playoffs, a couple years ago, the structure of the playoffs changed, and he called it out, saying this doesn't make sense and this is not a good way to pick the winner. He is a guy who's not going to throw his team under the bus when they're playing badly. He's going to take a lot of the blame for himself. He might do stuff behind the scenes, but in front of cameras and stuff, he's not gonna throw his team under the bus.
So what we've had this season at Celtic is we had a man. I know you probably heard of Brendan Rodgers from his time in Liverpool. Yeah. So Rodgers obviously came back into Celtic 2.5 years ago, and the way he left Celtic back in 2019. He just the week before he left Celtic, he's like, "Oh, I'm happy at Celtic," and then Leicester came in. He done the dirt on the girlfriend, as you want to call it. He realistically done the dirt on his wife as well back in the past. And Rodgers left Celtic and he came back, and he was one of these appointments where Ange left. Ange Postecoglou, you obviously know who Ange is. Yeah. Ange's a lot of Celtic fans are comparing this appointment, Nancy's appointment, to Ange because it's out of the unknown for us because we're used to having managers from Europe or someone that has a Celtic connection there.
Yeah, he was in Japan beforehand when he came in.
Yeah, Ange. Yeah, so he got Australia to the World Cup. He done well in the World Cup. They kind of had some decent games, and then he won the Asian Cup with them against South Korea against Sung's team, and he was at Yokohama, and then I'll be honest, I was very against the appointment of Ange Postecoglou because I didn't know who he was. He didn't have the UEFA license, and I felt it was a big risk. I dealt with him before, and a lot of us Australian Celtic fans, J League fans said, "Stop, give him a chance." I'm kind of a bit more softer with this appointment. I don't know if it's because of the whole previous. I know Ange is a completely different manager, different style of football. I just want to kind of get a voices from people across the other side of the pond to say, well, yeah, it is a big risk, but is it a risk that is it worth taking? Because we've interviewed a couple of candidates, and obviously the Celtic board, there's a lot of politics going on with the Celtic board.
Yeah, I've seen some of it. Yeah,
and the portion of the fans, because what's happened is we've failed to qualify for the Champions League in 7 attempts over the last 12 years, and preparation going into the season, they're not spending the money. The money's there. There's 80 million in the bank. We're not asking to spend 80 million because Scottish football's financial climate compared to English football, like you could buy a player for 80 million in the EPL. Like, so fans have been calling out for a long time, and the board haven't listened to fans. And we had our latest AGM, and you were literally within a couple of minutes, the AGM was like postponed because they
Yeah.
didn't. They
Yep.
basically gaslit the fans. They don't care. They don't value the paying customer. They don't
Yeah, I
value.
watched that. It was wild to watch.
Like if that was any AGM, they'd be sacked. The directors would be
Yeah.
sacked. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so. What we're afraid of is if he's going to be a yes man to this board. If we want to know that if he actually gets 25 million backing off the board in January, which is their window and winter window,
Yeah.
will it be a case? Could he actually tap into the American market? A guy that I've been looking at is Rossi. I seen he scored a hat trick for us recently as well.
Yeah, Rossi ended with I think 17 goals this year. He, I would not think he would be a yes man at all.
Uruguayan, isn't he?
Rossi is, yes. Yeah, and he played in Turkey before he came. He played for LAFC, went to Turkey, came back and played for us. But no, he left Montreal because he had an issue with their ownership, and they were not backing him in the transfer market, and he left because he and Columbus did. And so I don't think he'd come to Celtic to be a yes man at all. I don't think that's in him.
Well, that's the fear. We've had this a lot over the years where managers, like previous managers, we have like a manager called Neil Lennon. He was too cliquey with the board. Ange wasn't like that with the board. Ange done a lot of recruitment on himself, came in. We don't have a director of football. We don't have a middleman there. This is the problem. We claim that there's a man there that does the kind of source and stuff, but we don't. So what I want to know about regards to his backroom staff, he's bringing in his number 2 and he's bringing a guy that does another guy, and I don't know what he's about.
I don't know the analytics guy as well. But he's bringing in Empadu, who's been his number 2 for a while. He's a solid coach, and I think he's played. I think he's played in Scotland before, hadn't he?
I'll have to look him up. I just literally just want to fucking Wilfried.
But no, Empadu's solid, and I think it's one of his analysts that he's bringing with him. Surprisingly, I thought he was going to bring Johan Demey as well, who is his other assistant, but he's not coming with him. But no, he's a guy. His staff will be good, and I think he is even leaving. Celtic is having one of their own guys on his staff as well. I don't know who it was.
Sean Maloney probably.
Yeah,
Sean came in with Martin but Sean's Sean is a former player that obviously you're part of a team that got to Europa League final back 20 odd years ago. So we've always tried to do that. We always try to keep kind of coaches or coaching staff around the club when a new manager comes in, just to kind of bed them in. But like we originally thought that the Nancy deal was going to be done last weekend because it took, and then Martin O'Neill came out in the press and said, "Oh, I'm going to have another game left." Obviously down to work permits, getting the undisclosed fee done as well. So we're looking at 3-4-3 type of formation.
Yeah, and it's the formation is, like I said before, it's technically a 3-4-3, but it's very fluid where you'll have guys all over the field. Well, you'll have times where the whole 10 field players are close to being in the attacking third. And they'll box out people pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys play right now. I don't know, and I honestly don't know your.
We play 4-3-3. That's the type of. So what we do is we play the 4 at the back, and then we'll have a holding midfielder, which is our captain, and then we'll have our 2 McGregor, Cal. So we'll have our 2 midfielders ahead of him, and then we'll have our 2 wingers, and then we have a striker. But over the years, Celtic, we've always said, what if we go to 3-5-2, or we try and change around? But what I've learned about Nancy over the last kind of couple of weeks is he was linked to the American job, the US job before Pochettino.
Once Berhalter was let go, he was linked for a while. And as a Crew fan, we wanted him to stay with us. In my opinion, he's been the best coach we've ever had. And I understand in his mind, he wants to have his career grow. and so he wants to go to bigger and bigger clubs, give himself bigger opportunities. But once the national team links, see, like as fans of Nancy, we're like, cool, he wants to be able to do this. But as fans of the crew, we're just like, please stay here. But the Celtic thing went through.
I think the pressure's on him. I think the pressure's on him more because you look back 6 weeks ago, Celtic were 8 points behind Hearts. Now Hearts are not really a decent team. They've always actually been a kind of a 5th or 6th place team, maybe 40 all time. But when Martin came in to obviously stir the ship, we got the buzz back. Now we're level on points with Hearts in the league.
Oh, so I didn't realize you got that quickly. Yeah, that's good.
It's so we're level on points. They dropped it. They've drawn a few games and stuff. But now we were asking to keep Martin O'Neill, Pat, because we have a cup final next week. So Nancy has a chance to actually get his first bit of silverware next week.
Yeah,
in the cup final.
It's what, St. Mirren. You guys are playing.
Yeah. So they're a team that's just basically based outside Glasgow. They're about 15-minute drive away from the city centre of Glasgow on the motorway.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how it is because his system is honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't try to implement his system right away because it's something that doesn't. It's not something that comes like that.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the clips of him today? He got out. He went into the training facility.
Yeah, I saw the interview he did as well. Yeah,
Alistair Johnson that he worked with in Montreal. He talked with Wanyama. He met a couple of the youth team today, and he was saying in the interview that he's going to plan to meet the senior team later on. So he said he wants to get all this done and dusted, kind of instead of waiting until tomorrow, because the media press conferences are always on a Friday. Even if the game's on a Saturday or a Sunday, they tend to do the press conferences around midday. So I'm gonna find it hard getting used to a Frenchman speaking. At press conferences. But look, he's worked on the Thierry Henry. I know it didn't really work out for Henry at Montreal, but he said in the press conference he knows a lot about Celtic. He's been kind of following Celtic
for a few years now.
For a few years, and he has Cape Verde blood in him. And one of our greatest ever players his mom was from Cape Verde, which was Henrik Larsson. So we'll be supporting Cape Verde in the World Cup.
Well, Cape Verde, one of our players plays for Cape Verde as well. Stephen Moreira, and I mean, I saw a comment too that was saying if they wonder crew fans will tune in. I'm going to watch as many Celtic games as I can this year.
There'll probably be like 9 or 10 a.m. your time. So you think you're about 5 hours behind.
I get up to watch EPL games, and so I mean I have no problem getting up.
Is there any Celtic supporters clubs in your neck of the woods? Because we've people tuning in from Philly and stuff.
I know there's a group of Celtic fans that used to meet at one of the bars in downtown. I don't know if they still do. There was called Fado.
How far is Pittsburgh away from you?
Pittsburgh is from Columbus. I want to say it's like an 8-hour drive.
I'll tell you, there's a weekend up. I'd recommend. I know a couple of the boys up there that actually have a Celtic supporters group, and you should go up there for a beer one of the weekends. Take a trip up there. The lads are very welcome. It's the same with the lads in Detroit as well. I don't know if Detroit is closer to you.
Yeah, Detroit's a lot closer. I think it's a 4-hour drive or so.
So there's a couple of we call them CSC, Celtic supporters clubs. They're always but especially if it's our next big derby is on the I think it's the 2nd or the 3rd of January. So there's a gives you a reason to go up and actually watch it with them. Now we'll be like 6 a.m. kick off at 7 a.m.
Oh yeah,
kick off your time, but these guys start early.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the plans for the crew? Are they looking at a candidate?
I saw something today saying that our general manager is named Issa Tall, who's saying that they've for the past 8 months have been getting names together. So we'll see.
He's had a feeling after he won the silverware, he was on high demand.
Yeah, they had given him some contract extensions, and he denied them because we wanted to
And
see
was he
what his
linked?
options were.
Was he linked with any big clubs in Europe or any clubs around
No,
Europe before this?
at one point he was linked with a French club. I can't remember. I wanted to say it was Toulouse.
Probably
But
Strasbourg, one of them.
yeah, some mid-table league on team, and that didn't happen. National team for the USA didn't happen. But yeah, so a lot of Crew fans don't have the greatest confidence in Issa Tall, who's managing the team right now while looking for another coach, and so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what and we might end up just signing someone from inside the club already. But I mean, it's going to be hard regardless of who it is.
Is it that mentality with your club where they go for the cheap option as well?
Well, I wouldn't even know that for a while, the last 10 years, I'll say, or at least since the new ownership, which has been about 4 years. It's been buy smart, not buy expensive, and but the drop for this team was this past year, and it was when our old GM left. He left at the end of 2024, and the new guy came in, and we just haven't been doing as well since that. And that a lot of has been because of the transfer market. We've lost a lot of players and not replaced them well.
Do you just think it's a burnout after winning them 2 trophies? That's just like, you know what, if we hit that peak, it's very hard to maintain it.
Well, and it's hard to maintain it for any club in Major League Soccer. There's the league's been around for about 30 years, and the most times a team has won MLS Cup is 6, and so there's not really dynasties. I think in the Scottish League there hasn't been a team that wasn't Rangers or Celtic that have won it since the 80s, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it's not anything like that in Major League Soccer. You're not going to find. I mean, even Miami, I think within 3 years they're going to drop. Like it's hard to keep because of the salary cap. You'll have players that a team that has a lot of players that do well. They want more money. The salary cap doesn't allow them, and they move. And so it makes it hard for you to keep.
We've seen, funny enough, there was a guy that actually went over from Celtic to the MLS, Lewis Morgan. I don't know if you ever heard of Lewis Morgan.
Oh yeah, he for New York. Yeah,
he played for Miami.
Yeah, he was at Miami before that.
Yeah, and then we had Liel Abada. Liel Abada had to leave because of the whole conflict between Israel and he's at Charlotte. But there's just been crazy. But like, I remember when we were signing Alistair Johnson, I was kind of like, this guy, like, who is this lad? Like,
and honestly, when he moved, I didn't think he would do well at Celtic.
His debut was against Rangers, and he was absolutely. He played Rangers away, and he was outstanding in the game, and you could see the passion. And then he just grew and grew. But obviously, over the last couple of year and a half, he's been getting bad injuries. But Alistair, I've been saying it for the last season and a bit. He's going to be the next captain of Celtic if we keep him. There's talks of teams like Inter Milan looking at him, Newcastle looking at him, but he signed a new deal only recently, and I think he's married his missus over here. He's moved house. He was saying in an interview as well back home that he struggled to adapt because he was living on the kind of the well-to-do area in Glasgow, and people are coming up and getting pictures with him. And in Scotland, because of so much, like you could walk down the road and you could get absolute mouth abuse of the opposition fan and say horrible things, bitter things. That's the type of fishbowl you're in, doesn't it? If you finish second place, it's the end of the world. Celtic have finished second place back in the fourth season of COVID. Yeah. The first proper season of COVID when no fans were allowed in. And I felt like the world was ending because we were going for 10 in a row titles. So no team in Scotland has ever done 10 titles consecutively. Okay. So as you know, Glasgow Rangers is not the same team as you think Glasgow Rangers.
I remember they got dropped a few
liquidated,
Yeah.
Your assets go, so your history goes. So you go on like there's still this persona that they've won so many titles and they had that 5 stars. It doesn't exist anymore. So I'll be honest with me and just say it out straight. Do you think he'll win the league with Celtic this season?
No, I'm not even questioning it really. I think he's an excellent coach. I I have no not really no. I have very, very little negative things to say about Nancy. He's like I said, he's the best coach we've ever had, and I honestly think he could end up at even a bigger club. No shade for on Celtic.
That's we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. A lot of people
I
don't
know. Well,
realize
I'm just
that.
saying. You guys had Ange go to Tottenham. You had Brendan Rodgers go to Liverpool. You've had coaches who have gone.
The grass is always greener on the other side, my friend.
No, that's true. That's true.
Ange went to Tottenham and he couldn't couldn't get it.
And then he went to.
Then he got relegated, but he won the Europa League.
Yeah, yeah, that was a wild season. One of our other hosts follows Spurs as well, and that was just a wild one for that whole season. Made no sense.
Be honest, like you go back 8 weeks ago, I probably would have wanted Ange back ahead of like if you said to me Nancy or Ange, I would have been like Ange because like I just feel like it's coming from the unknown for us. So we're Celtic fans, we kind of like safe hands, or we kind of like someone that because this guy he hasn't managed in Europe. He hasn't if he managed in second division of France, we kind of would be like, but my first preference was Bodo Glimt's manager Knutson. I don't know if you ever heard of Knutson.
No, I know Bodo Glimt is. I know them from the last couple of years playing.
Because yellow and black, is that why? Or gold and black?
Or in Europa League, yeah.
But like we played them back in 2021, 2022 in the UEFA Conference League, and they absolutely smashed us at Celtic Park. I was at the game.
Yeah,
they were and then they went on and smashed Jose Mourinho's team in the Europa League the following season. Now they're a Champions League team. So we were never going to get Newsom because Newsom always gets a kind of a payday when the club sells players. He gets a stake of that transfer. And Celtic,
that's kind of their model right now, yeah.
Celtic's boss not like that. They're not like that. They'll take, but they don't spend. Yeah. They claim they spend, but they don't give a rat's toss. That's the problem with the board, and that's why we have such a divide. From the outside, it might sound strange to you, where a team could be so successful, winning trophies and making European football, but yet, why are the fans unhappy? Because when you are at like you're kind of say your richest point of so much money in the bank, you could expand the stadium, you could put more into your infrastructure, you could put more into the squads, because once you're winning on the pitch, that brings revenue in more than anything.
Yeah. Yep.
So like there has to be any dark moments or bad moments under your term and Nancy. That's what I want to know as well. There's been moments where the fans are like, fucking sack him, get rid of him, resign.
There's never been a sack Nancy like part of his tenure at Columbus at all. I honestly, like, even this season we ended up 7th in the East, and that was by far the worst we've done under him. And even then, we realized that there was a lot of issues that had, if anything, having Nancy made us do better than we would have if we had a different coach. Honestly, I was surprised we made the playoffs because of how bad our squad was. But that was a lot of things down to people above him. But in terms of Nancy, like, there's never been any of that kind of thing for him.
Be honest,
for us.
If Celtic go out in the market now in January, who do you think that they could go take off Columbus Crew? And positions as well. I want to know. Just be honest. I know you don't want. I know you don't want them gone.
I don't want any of them gone.
No, of course you don't want any more. But the same thing, you got to think. Right, a new coach comes in. The player might not settle there, and it's going to be pre-season for you.
I've seen a lot of rumors. I've seen rumors for Abu Ali, he's Palestinian striker. He only played 5 years and got injured.
That'll go down well with the Celtic fans.
There's Sean Zawatsky, who, the only reason I would say Sean Zawatsky, for me, he was the best player on our club this year. But he's a guy who...
What position he play?
I was going to say, he's a guy who's played both wingback positions. He's played a center back. He's played as a holding midfielder. He's played in the center midfield. Even once when we got a red card and didn't have a backup keeper, he was in goal for us.
That's what we kind of need. We need a defensive midfielder, because as much as we have McGregor there, McGregor is not a defensive midfielder. He's more better
Yeah.
at pushing up. He's like, you
Yeah.
look up a couple of his goals recently, does brilliant goals. So with this guy, does he play preferably left on the left wing back or the right wing back?
When he did, he's this past season he was primarily a center back, but he has his quote unquote natural position is center mid.
Yeah.
But he can play both sides of the wing. He's pretty 2-footed, and he's a guy who is incredibly the mental side of his game is excellent. He anticipates well. He passes well. I think his pass percentage this past season was like a 92, 93%. And he's just a guy who, when he's on, he's dependable. And
I'm gonna put the screen up for you, and I'm just gonna go through a couple of these. Goalkeeper wise, Celtic are fine at the moment. We have it number 2. Finland's kind of number 1, and with Schmeichel there, but Schmeichel's gonna leave. Centre backs, like his squad is quite young. What about this guy here? Like he's 34 years of age. What was he? Rudy.
Rudy Camacho was one of the guys that Nancy brought from Montreal. But he's a guy who he won't take him to Celtic. Nope, it's
Montreal.
Oh, you're kind of out. I can't. Hold on a second.
It's probably because that's glitching.
Yeah, I can't really hear you.
That's that. Now it should work. Now is that okay now?
Yep, it's good now.
Yeah. So it's realistically, you think they might go in and scout these guys and take them. And some of them are probably in decent contracts as well.
Yeah. And then I know you talked about Rossi. Rossi, if we lose Rossi, I think that would be a bad mistake on our end. He was our top goal scorer this past year, and pretty far ahead of anyone else on our team. I think our next highest goal scorer, including playoffs, had 9 goals.
And Rossi's been capped for Uruguay 9 times as well, so it's not like an unknown type.
And he's not a older player. I think he's mid to late 20s. And
I was looking at his transfer market value, 12 million.
Yeah. Yep.
So I
don't know. How about say I don't know what Celtic is willing to spend.
We won't spend 12 million there. Like our highest player has actually used 12 million. A guy called Arnie Ingles we got from Augsburg. But like the Celtic board hate breaking the bank. Now it's just I think if they are gonna back Wilfried and Nancy, they'll probably spend on it. If they spend a striker, probably about 6-7 million push. That's the push.
I would say I also wouldn't be surprised if it's not Celtic. Someone this season's going to go after Max Arfston. He's our left wing back, and he starts now for the U.S. national team. He wasn't a wing back until Nancy made him a wing back.
Yeah,
and in my opinion, I don't think Arfston would be anywhere near where he is at his career right now if not for Nancy. He's a guy who has brought on younger players pretty well. When he came in, our starting goalkeeper got dropped for our reserve keeper. Our right back came from a reserve team. He's playing for Algeria now. The right center back was Moreira. He's playing for Cape Verde.
So he's a man that takes big risks anyway.
Oh yeah, if a player is not playing well, it doesn't matter if they're like the senior player in a position. If they're not playing well, he'll drop them. There's even Cucho Hernandez who plays for Real Betis. He was like our big guy for a couple years, and at the beginning of 2024, he had an issue that was done behind scenes, and Nancy dropped him for 3 games.
Jesus! And did you sell him for big bucks?
Oh yeah. He and that was at the beginning of this year. we sold him. I don't remember the exact number, but it was in the 5 digits. But I mean, he's being linked now with like Manchester United and stuff as well.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's actually
Yeah, and
madness because
yeah,
I'm a stubborn shit. I'm like, it's the
yeah.
MLS, it's
Okay,
artificial
yeah.
pitches, it's these cringy chants. It's not like what you see with the ultras, and like this is like that's the stubbornness I come across. As I said, I've
No,
been to an
I've
MLS
seen a
game.
lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
like the Portland Timbers are like the most cringiest team I've ever seen.
the Timbers. Yeah, Seattle has a lot of that as well. But no, I think that's a lot. The league has only been around for 30 years, and the first 10 or so years we had 12 teams in the league, and now we have 30. And the salary cap has gone up and up and up. But I think a lot of the way that a lot of Europe sees MLS is how the league was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And not how it is now. And the league got a big reputation for being a retirement league before. And
that's look at the Chinese Super League. That kind of went down that kind of market. The Saudi League as well.
Yeah.
Look at Jota. Jota that went from Celtic. El Hattiyad bought him for 25 million, and then he ended up going back to France for I think it was
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then he ended up he couldn't survive in France. He was at France. He was in French football for 6 months, and then he resigned him. Now he's injured at the moment, but we're in a situation where we're going to lose a few players because of the African Cup of Nations that's coming up. So we're going to lose 3 players now over that. But no, it's a bit. Look, every manager is a big gamble. It's just because he's coming from, I wouldn't say an unknown league. It's a league we're not familiar seeing.
No, I mean that's fair. I think we'd be the same if there was if someone came out of the Canadian Premier League and was like, oh, but they're our next coach. Like, who is this guy? But I'm on here to tell you guys are in good hands with Nancy.
And what see when he's celebrating, like see when he's won the cup and stuff like that, the 2 titles, was he like going over to the fans and giving it all this?
Oh yeah. He's not a incredibly animated coach, but
so he's not like a Jurgen Klopp kind of no.
He's not animated at that level, but he's a guy who says the things that get you pumped more than shows it in his actions. Like when we won MLS Cup, they did an interview with him on the field, and he basically said, like, he told the players beforehand, like, you already know what winning is. You always have wanted to win, but this is now about making connections with each other, with the coaching staff, and with the fans.
He kind of said that something like that today in the press conference. Like, these players know as kids what as winning is all about.
Well, and I mean, I think he's right. Like, you shouldn't have to train professionals. Try to convince professionals that they should win games. I think that's something. Yeah. But the phrase he said was impossible is an opinion. And that's kind of where his whole like setup is built off of, where it's like, someone might say you can't do this, prove them wrong. And that's kind of what he's going to do here, I think, at Celtic.
I mean, I was looking at YouTube clips over the last 1 year ago, and people were talking about saying this guy is maybe the next Pep Guardiola outside European football. He has this ethos of football, and I'm like, right then, we'll bring it to Glasgow. Let's see how we go, because once he's if he loses 2-3 games, it's like your head's being called. And look at every Celtic fan wants to get behind this guy. Some must feel a bit underwhelmed because is this a Ronnie Doyle? You know who Ronnie Doyle is, obviously. With New York.
Yeah. And he was honestly not very good this past season with Atlanta.
So it could be a Ronnie Doyle appointment where he might get over the line, but he might not hit the heights, or will he be something unknown like Ange came in? Ange won the fans. Like what Celtic tried to do is when Ange came in, they got him mic'd up, and we're all a bit iffy about when he's pre-season and he's like, we don't lose the ball, we never stop, and that's I think they're gonna kind of go down that model with Nancy as well. Like it seems like they'll have him on the training field, they'll have him taped up. I'm looking forward to seeing the way he deals with the media over here because the media are very scrutinizing. They're very like they try to throw you in the pen like quick enough.
Yeah. That's honestly, I think that's gonna be the big change for him. Is the media because is very, very different. Yeah,
like the standard of Scottish football isn't the greatest, but it's physically good. Like I've seen players come up from English football, like Aaron Ramsey couldn't cut the sauce. Roy Keane, example, couldn't cut the sauce in certain games. Robbie Keane done okay. Players that come up and they just can't cut it in Scotland because they don't have it.
Yeah, it's funny to me that there's a lot like different leagues. You require different things, and like you might have someone who's incredibly technically gifted but is not physically gifted and can't cut it in England or Scotland, but will do great in La Liga. And and like even with us right now, there's a kid we signed from France named Hugo Picard. Technically fantastic player. He's good on the ball. He makes good passes, but if someone challenges him, he's a small guy and he just gets bumped off the ball. And so like we were saying, like there's some players might not fit well with in Scotland like they would maybe in MLS. So he might not even look for what I think honestly is going to happen is he's going to use this month, see what the play is like in Scotland, and find the players that fit what he needs. And
that's what I've been saying as well. Like some of these players that have like we have a guy called Dazen Maeda. So Maeda was tipped to go to Brentford in the summer. They wanted him. According to they offered around 12 million pounds, which is I think it's about 15 million US dollars, if I'm correct. But Maeda wanted to go. Transfer thing was handed in, and what happened was because we couldn't get a striker in, we won't let Maeda go, and it's just down to see a lot of these players that we get to 2 or 3 seasons out of them. They win the trebles, they get the European nights, they become fans' favorite, and then they see down the road, oh, I can get 3 times the salary. I could go there and maybe like with Van Dijk. Van Dijk's a prime example. Van Dijk we sold for about 12 million. He went down to Southampton stride, and then he went from Southampton to Liverpool for around 90 million. And Celtic actually windfall 12 million off that. And I don't know if will Columbus Crew as a club, if they were to get players to move over to Europe, will they get a good portion windfall if they succeed to other steps? I don't really know how it works with your club.
No, I don't know if we have a sell-on clause or anything, or like any kind of clauses for like Cucho Hernandez, for example. And I'll say that's the thing that your board did that I kind of wish ours. Like I know for the player, it's awful.
Picking up the board. Yeah. You get to know that the Celtic board, you'd be like, Jesus, a bunch of cronies.
It sounds that way. Yeah.
It's basically they're the beehive, we're the ants. That's what it feels like.
Gotcha. Yeah, we lost Cucho Hernandez, who, like I was saying, was the second best player in the league behind Messi. He was the only player with our MVP voting that got anywhere close to him. But we let him go with I think three weeks before the first game of the season, and didn't replace him until mid-season. Not a great way.
This is the type of stuff we do on a regular basis.
Yeah. It's not the greatest business way to do business in my opinion, but it is what it is. The crew is very much about being a player first club, or like we know we're going to sign some of these players, they're going to move on. But the issue with that is making sure that you bring in the right players when someone leaves. And like you were saying with your board, I don't know in terms of spending what they're able to do.
Because we've kind of recovered over the last 6 weeks, I just feel like he's coming in now. The ship's been steady with Martin O'Neill. If he loses like this game. The weekend is like top of the table clash. So this is probably the biggest game of the season domestically for us. And if it doesn't kill off the well, we're going to be like, oh fuck it. You just need to give this guy a bit of time. It's not going to click overnight. And it's the thing is, a lot of football fans, especially the younger fans now with social media, they don't have patience. Like, you feel like in Glasgow, when you realise over here, if we lose a game, it feels like the fucking world's ending. You want to go hiding. See, when we're playing Rangers and if you lose a game, which is very rarely we lose a game to them, you feel depressed for 2 or 3 days. You're like, they want to come out of the cave. They want to come out of the cave. It'd be like you losing to fucking Chicago Fire or something. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's you know, we're very passionate, but we are, like, as I said, we are a very welcoming football club where if someone comes in and what I read about him is he's that type of manager where he wants to make a good impression with his team, with the teammates. He wants to have them all in suits. Now, we don't in Glasgow. The Celtic team don't really wear suits unless if it's a cup final, or it's like Players Awards. They don't really wear suits unless we present it with the trophy at the end of the season. It's only for rare occasions the guys will wear suits. So
our guys normally from the bus to the locker room, they'll be wearing suits, and then they'll change from there.
No, we don't want to be wearing suits against Motherwell.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think he's going to. I think he'll have his ways of doing things, but he'll also be able to adapt to what's like. He's not going to be like everything that's a tradition for Celtic is out of the window. He's not. I don't think he's going to do that. But I do think he'll make his own stamp as well.
51% win ratio as well at Columbus Crew. It's not bad. It's not bad.
No, especially for MLS. Like we're saying, the league is built on parity, where it's built to be like any game either team could win, and that comes down, and then it comes down to who's built a better club under the salary cap, who has a better coach, who sets his team up in a better way to win. And Nancy's that kind of coach.
And have you heard over there how much the fee was between the two clubs that was agreed for him to
Nancy, I think it was $2.5 million.
It's not bad. It's not bad. So the $1 million question is: Are you gonna try, if he wins the league, you're gonna try come over and watch a game in Scotland?
I'd be down to do it. Yeah.
It's very cold. Very, very cold. I know it can be cold in Ohio, but it's a different type of cold over here. Cut it in half, like it's
okay.
But it's a beautiful stadium. It's a good club. It's good history. It's not just a club that was set up for the sake of let's play football. It was set up to feed Irish immigrants and people that were in poverty in Glasgow, the east end of Glasgow, Catholic people, and then we've kept that tradition up. We still have our pit stop in the stadium where they feed people that are struggling through poverty or cost of living. So we try to keep our morals there, but it's now I'll look into getting a Columbus Crew jersey. As I said, I'm looking at that away one from last season. It's not bad.
Yeah, the Goosebumps one, the kind of one like it looks like it has like a
little bits of stars in it. It's a nice top, like just something different. And who would you recommend I got on the back of the jersey? Would I get Nancy for the laugh?
Yeah, you can get Nancy. No, I mean, I was talking earlier. My favorite player for the Crew is Sean Zawatsky. But Max Arfson's a good one to get as well. Steven Moreira is always a good one. He's a personality. If you like a player with a personality, Steven Moreira is the guy.
Steve Morales. They're probably, as you said, they'd be tipped to sign this Palestinian striker. It just sounds like this is the type of Celtic thing. This is the type of the club do. They go for a marketing stunt. Now Celtic the club particularly doesn't really associate with the Palestinian ties, but the fans do. And it's something that Celtic might look into, you know. They try to milk every marketplace, and that's the way it is. Like, you know, obviously it was Thanksgiving last week. I remember I was talking to you, messaging you during the Thanksgivings, and you had Austin Trusty wishing everyone Thanksgiving, talking about the typical American foods. I've been,
Yep. Yeah.
I've been to the States for Thanksgiving. It's a phenomenal time of the year. I've
It
actually
is.
I went to a sporting event and Thanksgiving or the night before Thanksgiving. I went to see, unfortunately, the Penguins against
Oh yeah.
Vancouver. Went to see
Yeah.
them. Like, it was crazy. It was like $18 for a can of beer. I said,
It's
what?
insane.
It's the same. The MLS game 10 years ago was paying
Yeah.
$12 for the
No.
Bud Light. I was like,
Nah. It's
um,
crazy.
see, and you can't get alcohol in Scotland in football games, only if you do
Oh, okay.
hospitality. So
Oh,
back in the early 90s, back in the early 80s, Celtic played Rangers in the National Stadium in the Cup, and the fans all had riots. So alcohol was banned since, but the
wow.
talks are crazy.
Yeah.
But I'll try to get you back on the channel.
Yeah.
Just to give everybody an insight, you and four of the guys have
Yeah.
a channel. You've been doing it for the last year.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's called For the Crew Podcast. Yeah, we're on social media everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And we stream pretty much everywhere you can think of. So we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, Amazon, Podbean, whatever. If you're listening to a podcast, wherever you listen to it, we're probably on there.
So,
We put out 2 episodes a week. Yeah,
that's good. It's good. Look
yeah.
at, as I said, you'll get there. I wish I could take a leap out of your book and do it on a more regular basis, but time's consuming and we all have to pay bills.
Yeah. During the off season, we're a little bit more low key, but come preseason time, we'll ramp it up again.
I just want to say, does anyone have a question in the comments? 16 people tuning in. So, folks, is any questions for Matt regards to Wilfried Nancy before we go? Anything that you're curious about that you could answer regards to style of play, anything like that, regards to personnel? As I said, I think I think it'll take time for me to get used to it. This is change. Where a lot of the fans are feeling of a bit of a low now because of Martin leaving. It's just because we're to be screaming his name for 6 weeks, and now we're letting a legend go. Because my personal opinion, Matt, I would have waited until the summer. I know that would have been the middle of your season. I would have waited till the summer to get Nancy in.
Well, I will say Nancy. He was pretty adamant about not leaving in the middle of the year, with whatever team he went to, with him, because he didn't want to leave Columbus in the middle of the season, a team that gave him the chance to get to where he's at. He didn't want to leave them high and dry in the middle of the year. But yeah, so that's probably a big reason that it's happening now and not in the summer.
It's a big move going from an MLS team to like one of the biggest fan bases in the world. Yeah, as I said, the Scottish League, a lot of people from the outside don't realise, but it's a high demanding job, and it's pressure. And if he can strive under pressure, as you said, he came into Columbus Crew from Montreal. He bring a few players with him. He bring a bit of personnel with him as well, coaching personnel. And as you said, if he has this ethos of the impossible slogan, if the fans can buy into that, which I think they've done a lot of coverage today, he will win over fans. Football results win over fans, and I'm just nervous. As I said, I'm just nervous about it.
I honestly think that's fair to be nervous about it because, like you said, he's an unknown to most of you guys, and but I feel like within a month you guys will be like, okay, they made the right decision.
Made the right decision. We win the league. I'll be giving you a message. We're opening the league. I'll be like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Well, I was on another Scottish podcast, and I told them, I was like,
off the sides, wasn't it? The boys.
Yeah.
They're really good set lads.
Me and one of their guys are also on. It's called Celtic AM, and but I told him, I was like, if something goes wrong, send me all the hate mail you want. I'll take it.
Right, there's a question for you. What was Wilfried Nancy's usual formation when in charge of Columbus Crew? Was it very attacking minded?
Yes, very attack minded. It was a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1, I guess you could call it. Play out the back, two center mids are usually used as and two center mids are usually used as kind of pivot players. They're kind of guys that make sure that you keep possession. Wing backs are basically wingers who drop back on defense. So in the attack, it's almost like it's a 3-2-5. And the front three, when they're in sync, they interchange. So you'll have your front striker, you're one in the middle, you have your two guys off each shoulder of him, but that whoever's that front guy changes regularly. The idea is to set up so that you can off balance defenses, disorganized defenses, and then be able to create overloads to get into the box.
What about goalkeeping? Like, is it a case that he does a lot of sweeper keeper as well? Because
this goalkeeper has to be good with their feet. Yeah, you can't. If the keeper can't play with their feet, they're not going to work under Nancy's system.
Right, that's something that a lot of fans want to know, because we do a lot of possession from the back with the keeper, and I'll be honest, as much as Casper has been around a long time, it's not the type of football that it's convincing on the eye. So if it's a bit of sweeper keeper, we'll get used to it. I always remember one of the first ever sweeper keepers I always remember is actually Brad Guzan, of all people. He always brings the bell to me, but when he was at Villa.
Yeah.
Guzan, but no, we have two left backs at the moment, Tierney and Srirachi. Srirachi's Uruguayan as well, so he's been around the same amount of caps as Rossi as well. But that would suit the type of play. We're waiting for Alistair Johnson to come back. We do have a guy. We have two other right backs. We have a youngster called Kobe Donovan. He's going to break through this season. He's done all right in some games, and then we have a guy called Anthony Ralston that's been in the senior side for about the last 5 or 6 years. But a lot of fans see him trustworthy, but he's not the most attacking minded player.
Okay.
And pacey wise, he does the job, gets in, but sometimes he's, as I don't like saying, he's like a bomb scare at times. So I think his best days in the Celtic shirt is gone.
Gotcha. I guess a question for you to kind of build off of in terms of talking about tactics. Do you think that your club has a lot of players that are versatile? Because that's a big thing with his system. Is he so? For example, this past the year that we won MLS Cup, our left wing back before he came to the crew was a winger. He played higher up the field. Our backup left wing back was a right wing back. In the back three, the two guys on the outside of the back three were fullbacks originally and got moved more centrally. Like I said, Sean Zawadski, who was a center mid, played center back. There's a lot of guys who have to be flexible and learn.
We have about 3 or 4 players that can play that type of, that is adaptable to any style. Like for example, there's a guy called Liam Scales. Now Liam Scales is preferably a centre back, but when we sent him on loan to Aberdeen a couple of seasons ago, he played as a left back, and then before he signed Celtic, he played as a defensive midfielder. Kind of like the guy you're talking about off the crew, Rogowski, is it?
Yeah.
Kind of like him. We had Daisen Maeda. He's a Japanese international. He's preferably, he was signed as a striker, but he can play left back. But he's this type of player where you don't really get in modern day football, where he will play as a left wing back if he has to keep going down there and getting the ball back and walking his socks off. So we do have players, midfielders, like we're still trying to get used to this guy, Arnie Ingles. Is he attacking? Is he defensive? Is he just going to play in that middle? Is he going to more to his game? Alistair Johnson, perfect idea. He is adaptable. You could play him in the right wing if you wanted, but he's a right wing back. So we do have players there. Our concern is we don't have enough as a main striker. We have a guy called Johnny Kenny. He's kind of scored a couple of decent goals this season, but we don't have an out-and-out striker. We lost our main man, which was Kyogo, last year to Rennes, and it doesn't work out for him. He's struggling down in Birmingham now. He's played like 15 games, 1 goal. So I think this is why I'm feeling that we'll probably will tap into a market if it's because we tend over the last couple of years we've tended to tap into the Japanese market. It hasn't really worked out for us in the last year or two. I don't know now if the MLS is going to be a market that we're going to go back into, and it may not be crew players. It could be
Yeah,
players
I
from
was
different
gonna
games.
say, if I could put a name in Celtic fans' ears, Sebastian Berhalter.
Never heard of him.
Um,
Doesn't
he plays for Vancouver.
so he plays on Muller.
Yeah, he plays with Muller, and he has broken into the U.S. national team this year as well. Very good on set pieces, hard-nosed midfielder. And there's a lot of nepotism kind of calls because his dad used to be the coach of the U.S. national team. But the kid, he came from the Crew Academy. He started with us and he moved around a little bit, couldn't find his footing, and found it in Vancouver. And Vancouver's in the final now against Miami on Saturday.
Midfielder, yeah. I'm looking at him here.
Midfielder. Yeah,
he was actually born in London.
Yeah. When Berhalter played in England for a little bit, and yeah, he was born out there.
So he actually played for youth for 9 games, and then he moved up there.
Yeah,
so,
he signed with us out of our academy, and then ended up moving on to Austin and then Vancouver, I believe.
So what is he, like more of a defensive midfielder? Because he doesn't have a lot of goals these games. Looking at the statistics.
Yeah, I would probably call him a box to box. Maybe calling him a deep lying playmaker, but he's not a guy who's afraid to go into tackles. He's like I said, he's very good on set pieces.
Because we have a lot of midfielders. We have a guy there called Paulo Bernardo. Like he's Portugal's under 21s captain, and every time he plays for Portugal, he either like scores a fucking phenomenal goal, man of match performances, but he cannot get a start for Celtic, and we signed him on a permanent deal from Benfica. So this guy has Irish blood in him as well. He could declare for Ireland. Sebastian. Citizenship.
Recently, the USA just beat Uruguay 5-1, and he scored one of the goals, and it was, in my opinion, the best goal of the game. And
so his stats: 38 games, 5 goals, 11 assists. That's not bad. So he does look like a box to box, all right.
Yeah, and he's still pretty young,
playing the right wing as well.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a name that
his contract's actually, he's a free agent, but technically he's an option of a 1-year extension. So he could be technically on the market if someone was looking at him.
Yep. So that's just one name I'll give you guys from MLS that probably wouldn't be very expensive, but could do a job for you guys. But
so we have a scout over in the US telling us who to go for. Tap away. We're not taking Liel Abada back anyway. Liel had good times in the Celtic shirt, but no, keep him in Charlotte. No, he's all right. But the thing about
he didn't really do very well this past year either at Charlotte. I mean, he wasn't bad. He was fine. Yeah.
Charlotte have a massive stadium as well, don't they? They have a big stadium.
Yeah, I want to say it's used for more than just their club, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
So is majority of the pitches in the MLS are like artificial pitches, aren't they? They're not grass pitches.
Not as much today. There's a lot of the clubs have built their own stadiums over the past decade or so, but there's teams like New England and basically the teams that use American football stadiums still use artificial.
Yeah, like Atlanta as well, like
Atlanta,
the Mercedes
New
Stadium.
England, Seattle, Charlotte. But like we have 2 stadiums now. We have our old stadium. We built a new one a few years ago. Both of those, the old one is now artificial. It was grass when we played there. Our stadium right now is grass. Cincinnati plays on grass. Chicago plays on grass. Like most of the teams that have their own stadiums. Well, actually, all the teams that have their own stadiums play on grass. If they're playing on multi-use stadiums, they'll usually have artificial.
There's a guy. I need to find out the name. I need to find out the team he plays for. I think it's Louisville. Hold on. I went to college with a guy in. And he's playing over in division just below the MLS. Let's see now.
In the USL.
He's playing for Louisville City FC. He's been there since 2015, right?
Okay.
And still playing for them. He's 35 years of age now, and I'm surprised he never got that move to the MLS. But this guy, what a player! What an absolute player! Niall McCabe. Niall McCabe.
Okay, I don't know the name.
He was that good of a player when we were in college that the coach wouldn't let him play his right foot, his good foot. He always play his bad foot.
Yeah, we have a former academy guy who plays for Louisville as well. So that's really the only connection I have with that club. Yeah. Good
stuff. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed the chat. I will be wishing you never know, I might buy myself a Crew jersey for the upcoming season.
Do it.
I won't be buying.
If you do it, let me know, and I'll get a Celtic kit.
I get a Celtic jersey on. You'll get a Celtic top cheap enough. They're everywhere. You get what I'd recommend. Try get the Bumblebee one. So we have a couple of ones that like literally is like a Loomis and black Bumblebee. Yeah. Look up Celtic Bumblebee jersey 1996. You can actually get it on the club store, but without the umbro on it. It's slick. It's absolutely slick. So right, I'm putting a prediction on how much points Celtic gonna win the league under Nancy.
Oh, I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't know what you guys normally are looking like in terms of
usually around between 10 to 12 points.
Is over second place?
Over 38 games, it's between because we play Rangers 4 times a season.
If you win those 4 games, I got you. And you win the rest of your games. Yeah. I'll put it at you win the league by 8.
8 points?
Year.
Yeah. I was just hoping John dropped.
And then next year it'll be even better than that.
He's here for 2.5 years, and this is the type of thing I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a 5-year deal, but obviously they're taking a chance, and it's a big gamble, and you come in and hopefully get the win against Hearts. We could knock them off top spot. I expect to see him in his hoodie and his green hoodie and his jeans and his bomber jacket.
Yeah, yep, that's Nancy.
Good stuff, Matt. Look, thanks very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your holiday and your vacation wherever you are. But good luck to the podcast as well, and I'll be tuning you on. You better win that Eastern Conference.
Well, we're gonna do it next year. We'll do it.
Yeah, hire Ronnie Doyle. Ronnie Doyle will do a job for you. Ronnie's a winner.
I don't want him.
Well, look at Ronnie can do a job. He's won the MLS Cup. Like
he won it, but he also was had one of the worst clubs this year in the league. So
well, look at that's a good thing. He's moved off from a bad club to a better club.
There you go.
I'm putting Ronnie Doyle on for the Columbus Crew job. Why not?
All right.
I'll tell you a crazy story about Ronnie Doyle. So Celtic were playing Rangers, and it was New York time, which was about 7 a.m. But there's a picture of him at 5 a.m. in the morning, fucking watching a game. The Celtic supporters group in New York, drinking the bevies, watching Celtic. He does not care. Ronnie Doyle is the man.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe he'd be a part of the coaching search. We'll see.
You never know. Hopefully, there might be someone crazy. Might be Landon Donovan or something. You never know.
Yeah.
Right. Good luck. I'll speak to you soon. Take care of yourself. All right. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers, bud. Oh, what a nice guy. What a nice guy. Good to get a perspective, folks, on kind of an insight of what we'll be dealing with. Look at the last couple of days has been all underwhelming in my eyes regards to getting this guy in, and I'm not trying to write him off, and I wish him the very best as the next manager of our club, and we ought to buy into his ethos, buy into the charisma, buy in to see what he's made of. I just think it's coming down off a high from Martin O'Neill. We seen it last night. He's walk around and then saying that the Celtic fans should never forget they're the best fans in the world. And it just brought a tear to the eye, Martin leaving. Really did bring a tear to the eye. And is I'm probably wondering, why does an Irishman have a Scotland flag? Because he misses the Scottish. That's why. So Joe was saying, boys, we must keep the faith. Think Celtic will not run away, score a few goals. Look, the Hearts game's going to be a difficult one. They're going to be organised to try get themselves that mentality back of bouncing back. And look at Celtic Park without a portion of our fans, like the Green Brigade. I know they were in attendance with the boys last night in some capacity. We need every fan to get behind the team. All means you could sit there, have the bums on the chairs, but it's about making the noise. It's about making Celtic Park a cauldron of a place that you don't want to go, a team you don't want to play against, dreading going to Celtic Park. And I just think over the last few years in Europe, especially with teams in the league, well, it's like they come and they're like, you know what, we'll sit back, we'll hit them on the counter. We don't want that. And I think Hearts, they're obviously well capable of scoring against us. Shanklin's on form this season, but training tops the belt. I have this since last season. Bought that when I came out last season. And I have the DNA one there as well. But now I'm glad to be back on, folks. It's just been busy. I'm gonna try to get on as much as I can. I want to bring back the good times. I'll take time. If I get my missus already had a chat with me last night. You want to fucking get back on that YouTube. Stop making excuses, Keith. Stop saying you're this. Stop saying that. People don't want to hear your excuses. People don't want to hear you about losing a race. People don't want to hear about you losing a match. People want to hear you getting on and talking the best you can, showing that passion, showing them what it's about. Showing them what it's about. And I will get back. I will get back, and it's been a hard year for a lot of people. But I'm gonna shake myself and start wiping the dust off this laptop and start seeing my big mush again. And enjoy talking to folks. Enjoy talking to I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite nervous about this guy. I watched his interview. I've seen the videos and I've seen him doing the good times with Columbus Crew, but man, you're walking to a job where this is a high tense job, and if he can believe he can strive and get reaction and keep this mentality, and maybe he might get players that as Matt says, where the reserve players and turn them into first team players. That could happen. We could see maybe a Paolo Bernardo that's been on the slings of the first team could get a bit of a breakthrough. It could be a case where he may not like Kasper Schmeichel to suit his style of play, and he might bring Salo in. It's like he made a good question to me, good point. Like as he said, Keith, do you have a lot of players in that team that's versatile? Well, there is. We do have a Scales. We do have an Alistair Johnson. We do have a Tierney. We do have a Srirachi. There is players there, and we do have a Maeda, but I would like to see us keep Maeda past January, just to see what does he buy into this Nancy revelation, the French revelation. Bring Christopher Julian back. Why not? Why not? So Joe said, it's good for you. Good to see you back. Missed you. You're looking good. I'm feeling fresher. And then the Brock is into me. I'm drinking less fizzy juice. Just want to eat a bit better, sleep a bit better, and forget about the negative shit. Like as the missus says, Keith, you strive when you get onto that I want to see more of that. I want to see more chalk and absolute chalk and cheese. But let's see. Right. David says it was difficult seeing Martin leave. It really was. He's a legend at Celtic and knows how to make the team tick. Just his whole personality suits the club. But I hope Nancy can achieve success too. That's it. It could be. It's the unknown. It's the unknown. It's like it's like when you're going into a new job and you don't know anyone and it's a different type of job you've done before. That's what it feels like. It kind of feels like, he's going into a club where he says he's been keeping eyes on Celtic for a long time. Mentioned Wanyama, met up, reunited with Alistair today. It's, we're going to enjoy it. I think we're going to enjoy this whole 3-5, 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, whatever he does. I think it's different, but he needs to understand. Yeah, the fans are important. The fans are the paying customers. The fans strive. The fans give you what they can. And I'm sure what nearly halfway through a season, the boys know that if they want to be winning titles and winning cups and making a crack in Europe, it's in their hands. The manager can come in, give some cracking motivation speeches tomorrow, have a good training session with the tomorrow, have a good media chat, and Saturday a little light training session, probably more of a bonding to getting to know each other, and we'll look forward to it. We'll look forward to Wilfried coming in, and as I said to Matt on the podcast, no disrespect to Wilfried Nancy at all, but he wasn't, in my eyes, the top candidate we should have went for. And I'm sure that we tried to get different candidates in, but if this guy is meant to be the next big thing outside European football to bring this exciting style of football, you got to give it a go. You got to give it a go. You got to give it a whack and stop going to safe hands that have managed the club before in the past. Even though I do love Ange, or previous players that have are our cult heroes. Like you need to kind of move away from that. And I know a lot of fans are probably thinking, "Oh fuck's sake, he's probably a yes man." You're gonna say yes for taking the job, aren't you? Are you gonna say yes to your boss is above you? Of course you fucking are, because you want to make a good impression. But I'm sure that he will get insurances. I'm sure he will get a particular. I'm sure he's probably looking at players already. He's probably they're probably being scouting players and saying, "Well, look, we've been in the US, looking at players in the US. Do you know this guy? Yeah, I like this guy. Won't see me still at football." Like I'm sure this has already been going on in behind the scenes anyway. People just don't get interviewed for the job, and there's a lot of stuff going in the background. And I'm sure there's probably like, "Oh well, Wilfried's in the interview. Can you give us maybe 3 players that you've developed and what you've made of these players?" Like as Matt said, that guy that's went to Real Betis, now he's linked with a move to Man United, and yeah, he got Montreal to that level. He got Columbus Crew the MLS Cup. He got them playing well, as you said. There wasn't any dark moments where they felt like they wanted to sack him. I don't know. We're more opinionated over here because it's a bigger thing. It's a bigger club, and there's no disrespect to Columbus Crew, no disrespect to Matt and his beloved team. This is going up 10 tiers in my eyes. This is going up 10 steps because you've got European football on top of that. Yes, they got to the equivalent of the Central America or North American Champions League final, and they got fuse poisoned, and they lost the game to that Mexican side. But this is a different level. And when you go out into that stadium, 60,000 fans, and what they've been through with the ups and down politics with the board, we want to all get on the same. We all want to get the same hymn sheet, and which is continuity, supporting the team, backing the team. And I know you all say we've been doing that already, but I mean, like, let's just fucking forget about the board. for the time being. I know I've been a big advocate on the channel talking about, not giving them any more pennies and, completely being on side with the Celtic collective. I just want to take a little step back from that right now and focus on the most important thing is our team getting top spot, our team actually making the season more enjoyable. It's been brilliant under Martin. One defeat against Midtjylland, 85% win ratio, pretty good. I'll be honest with you, I only watched the first half of the game last night. I know there's shit going on, and yeah, I missed the second half. I heard I missed fuck all anyway, but I wanted to enjoy the rest of the season because let's be honest, folks, it's been fucking hard to watch at times. And Martin kind of gave us that bit of a flame, and he's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, lead us through that storm, and we're back feeling that right. You know what? Fuck Hearts. Let's take Hearts to the laundrette. Let's do it. Let's show them what it's all about. Let's show them that we're the champions for a fucking reason. We're the champions because we have the best fans, we have the resources there, we have the experience, we've done it fucking season upon season, and we've also been a Hampden, like a fucking training ground, season upon season, because we believe in it. We believe in it. So I think Brendan's was too fixing. Brendan's football was fucking dire. Simple as. Brendan Rodgers checked out in the summer. He checked out after Almaty. He didn't give a flying absolute toss. He was taking the money. And you know what? Yes, I don't agree with Dermot Desmond's fucking statement. Oh, he went over and we had a chat. And he couldn't give us a reason why we didn't back him. I don't believe. I think Ross Desmond fucking gaslit the fans at that AGM, and he made the fans. They knew what they were going into. They wanted to orchestrate that on purpose to get a reaction. They wanted to give the fans the two fingers. And you know what? These are your fucking paying customers. These are your paying customers. You're criticizing your paying customers, calling them anti-establishment, anti-board, have an agenda against your dad. Well, fucking do your job a bit better. Simple as. Do your job a bit better. And hopefully they can turn around and tap their fucking corporate backs and whatever at the end of the season we have a title. Who gives a shit about him? Moving on about him. Fuck him. Simple. He's gone. Thanks for the good moments, Brendan. We're not thanking for the bad moments because you think you're bigger than Celtic Football Club. And that's the fucking God honest truth. He thinks he was bigger than Celtic Football Club. He fucked off in 2019. I wanted him back. We got him back. He brought us a couple of trophies, and he's just fucking, yeah. Let him ride it out. Let him take whatever job he thinks he is, because Brendan Rodgers is done. He's fucking done. He's done. He's not an elite manager anymore. He's been done. He won the FA Cup with Leicester. Congratulations. He also got Leicester relegated. He bottled it. Well, Gerrard bottled the Liverpool fucking title thing. But Rodgers, we all loved Rodgers in 2016 to 2019. He fucked off. Never recovered. His legacy at Celtic is never going to be at the level he expected. He wanted to go in and fulfill the 3 years. He's a fucking spoofer. In my eyes, a fucking spoofer. And I did feel sorry for him when the resignation happened. But the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Every third season syndrome with fucking Rodgers. He's in the past now, folks. Let's get behind this manager. It's different. It's a new chapter. This could be an enjoyable weekend, a new manager in the door, a new style of football, beating Hearts. We fucking be loving it. And then we have a cup final next weekend. Bring that on, baby, as well. We fucking bring the buddies on as well. I hope we bring some talent in. I'm sure we'll be looking in the French market. I'm sure we'll be looking in the US market. I'm sure we'll be looking to get strengthened because some players might not suit his style. And if they don't suit his style, cheerio, mate. You don't suit our style of football. We're keeping you for 2.5 years. We don't want to keep you. We've had you on the books, and mate, you haven't. And you know what? Speaking of players, like Yang has turned the corner under Martin O'Neill. I thought Yang was fucking fantastic out in Rotterdam. Thought he was brilliant out in Rotterdam. And I've always give Yang shit. You know me, I'm not Yang's biggest fan. I think if you define his Celtic career over stage 1 to 10, I would say probably a 5. Don't think he hit the heights in certain majority of games. And you know, Yang needs to have that confidence where believes he's more direct. And this is the problem with fucking managers these days. Oh, take the ball up 10 yards, afraid to skin a player, afraid to take a player on. If they take the player on, it goes out for a throw in, and it's going back to the defenders, or it's going back to the opposition's back four, and then that style of play is broken down. Be more direct. As a footballer or as grown up as a kid, what's your job to do as a winger? Fucking bring up that wing and hoof the ball in, or take players on and hit a shot. None of this bullshit. Oh, go 10 yards. Oh, pass it back to me, centre mids. Oh, try to break it through. It's boring football. It's boring. You see it in the Premier League. You've seen it with Celtic. You've seen it. Like, it's just football is not exciting as the way it used to be, folks. And I don't know if he's agree or disagree in the comments. This whole like fucking take a player on, do 1, do 2, be a Paddy McCourt, skin a player, and take a chance. Take a chance, you know. Hope it's easy as that. I think there'll be ups and downs. It's been a common occurrence this season, and it could be a transition period now with a new manager. All I would say is, as much as if it doesn't go wrong, doesn't go right the weekend. If it doesn't go right the weekend, have patience. There's a lot of football to be played. A lot of football. It doesn't click overnight. Rome wasn't built in one day, folks. Just have a bit of patience regards to Wilfried and his assistant and what he brings. You know, I'm sure he's going to have a conversation with Martin O'Neill regards to the team and what Martin has pinpointed of strengths and weaknesses of certain players over the last 6 weeks. I'm sure that conversation will be exchanged properly. And but yeah, look, folks, I'm going to jump off. I've enjoyed this last hour and a half. So I want to say a massive shout out to Matt from Ohio for doing the podcast and giving us a bit of more of an insight. I know he's done that was his third podcast with Off the Side podcast and Celtic AM and now myself as well. I really appreciate him taking time out of his holiday to chat to myself and give us a bit of an insight, and hopefully you have learned a little bit more about Wilfried Nancy. And I'll be back tomorrow night. For a chat. I will come back on for about half an hour tomorrow night, 40 minutes. Well, probably about 7ish or so, chat with you. So, folks, keep it classy. Just remember, form is temporary, liquidation's permanent. Back the man. He has a plan. We'll see what happens. I'm too old now to know. Seeing if Celtics have the season, they're never winning anything. It's just a case of losing games and it's over. Nah, look at the younger fans. We lose a couple of games. They lose a couple of games to fucking Wolves End, and that's what it feels like with them. It's not like it shouldn't be like that. You'll have patience. As that famous cliche, keep the faith. Keep the fucking faith. So, folks, I'm going to jump off. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hail, hail, and good night.